Taming the Demon by Ami Levskiro. Chapter 29. To Storm. As expected, every muscle in Hiruma's body was screaming when he got up the next morning. He briefly lamented having sex on top of everything else. Could only imagine what the kid might be dealing with right now. But the blonde didn't have it in himself to truly regret it. He sent out a mass text to the team canceling today's practice. He didn't mention that he still wanted them all to show up at the club room because he knew they would anyway, and he felt like teasing the manager a bit. He then went about gathering paint and pseudo players and calling up a helicopter service. They might be having a rest day, but there were still many things to do. Sure enough, every single member showed up at the clubhouse, and Anazaki declared her victory, though she actually lost when agreed to gamble in the first place. Kicking the kids out of the clubhouse and into the helicopters, the blonde explained the concept behind Ojo's defense, using the color-coded sections of the field and having the pseudo-players move as directed. But there was another reason for the impromptu aerial view. As the monkey pointed out, the group could quite clearly see Ojo Senior High School from this altitude. Hiruma whipped out a telescope, only to find that Takami's ability to be a sneaky bastard was applicable off the field as well. Knowing that the blonde wanted a peek at the White Knight's new strategy, the bespectacled quarterback had moved practice inside to the school's gym. No one could ever say that Hiruma Yoichi did not relish a challenge. Luckily, the following day was Ojo's cultural festival. The school was open to the public and featured a chance to watch the White Knights practice. Hiruma wondered at the irony of going to all those defensive measures only to hand Damon a gift-wrapped invitation to come snoop around. Who planned that? Not that it really mattered in the long run. The blonde brought the team along and let them have their fun making a ruckus while he snuck into the gym storage closet. Yesterday's practice had the White Knights pitted against their own upperclassmen, the Silver Knights, at Ojo University. There was no way a match like that would go unrecorded, if only so that the Silver Knights coach had an idea which players could be recruited next year. The closet was about twice the size of the one at Damon, which meant more junk to sort through, but the quarterback was nothing if not thorough and relentless. His persistence paid off in the form of a written play-by-play of the game and the final scoreboard. He snapped a picture of the board, read through the material, absorbed the information, and came to a conclusion. Damon was in so much crap right now. The tactician still needed to confirm his findings with the Ojo players, so off he went to find most of them in the audience of some kind of quiz show type game. Seeing as Otawara and Taki were both contestants, the quiz was already shot to hell, so the blonde figured there was no harm in his replacing the host. He even dressed the part. Initially, it seemed that Takami wasn't going to budge an inch, but then along came Shin with his warrior's pride, wanting to duel Sena on a relatively even playing field. The bespectacled quarterback sighed and gave in, confirming that the Devil Bats were up to their ears in trouble. Shin Seijuro was playing both defensively as a linebacker and offensively as a running back. The worst part about it was that since Shin was tireless, his new responsibilities on offense did nothing to detract from his considerable skill as a linebacker. On the contrary, he actually seemed to be getting better. The whole team did. Aside from a field goal right at the beginning, the so-called golden generation hadn't scored a point. Hiruma mentally brought up and scrolled through the final scoreboards of every match the White Knights played during the tournament and realized that not one single team had scored a proper touchdown at all. The challenge made the blonde tremble with excitement. By the time he had finished explaining what they were up against, it was time to go watch the White Knights open practice. More shenanigans seem to be going on over here as, for who knows what reason, Otawara and Sakuraba both showed up in maid costumes. Hiruma would later learn that such was the penalty for last place on the quiz show, but for right now, he just wrote it off as Ojo being full of oddballs. The receiver practice involved catching balls being thrown at them by the audience. The monkey probably saw this as an excellent opportunity to declare war on Sakuraba, and he would have been right if he could actually throw a ball properly. As it was, he demonstrated his ability to be a complete idiot and hit himself in the face with the ball as it ricocheted off just about everything around him. The resulting toss arched so far over the heads of the receivers that only one even had attempted to jump for it. You guessed it. Mr. Maid Uniform caught the impossibly high ball. When prompted, Manta admitted that even at the maximum height of his jump, he wouldn't have even brushed it with his fingers. However, his self-confidence picked back up when he plucked a bullet of a ball that seemed to whip up out of nowhere before Sakuraba could even react to it. Everyone seemed quite amazed to find it had been thrown by Kongo Unsui. The Shinryuji Baldi mentioned that Ikkyu was having trouble accepting that Manta had beaten him, and the ensuing conversation ultimately culminated in Sakuraba issuing a challenge to Manta. It would seem that the blonde had grown quite a backbone. He even claimed that he was aiming to overtake Shin. As the sun set, Damon headed back for evening practice. It was time to dry out Noboroku so that he may grant the impossible requests of inventing countermeasures to both the ballista and to Kami and Sakuraba's Everest pass. In response, the trainer pulled out a bunch of surgical masks. The team quickly realized that practicing with the masks was ridiculously exhausting, what with their now limited ventilation. Many nearly passed out due to oxygen deprivation and did not seem inclined to get up when they found out that not only are they to wear the masks for practice, but they're not to remove them at all until right before the game. Clouds roiled across the horizon. A storm was coming and it was going to be big.